Today, we're going to break down the core arguments from the book, The Dawn of Awakening. It makes a really bold claim that our world is right on the edge of a massive, monumental shift. So this is our analysis of its central idea, and we're going to explore the 5 definitive signs it presents of a global transition that's already happening.
The author kicks things off with a question that I think hits home for a lot of us. This feeling of a constant, low-level anxiety about the state of the world, a sense that time is speeding up, hurtling towards some unknown major event. The book says this isn't just paranoia. It's actually a sign of a collective awakening.
So what are these signs? Well, the book argues they aren't just a bunch of random, chaotic events. Instead, they're 5 distinct, interconnected patterns that are signaling the end of one era and the dawn of another. Let's dive in and decode each one.
Okay, the first sign the author points to is this pervasive feeling of being trapped. The idea is that modern oppression isn't some visible dictator you can point to anymore. Instead, it's this structural, almost atmospheric pressure that has finally reached its breaking point.
And what makes this new form of control so tricky is that it's invisible. The adversary, as the book puts it, isn't a person you can fight. It's the algorithm shaping what you think, the financial systems that quietly devalue your money, and these unseen networks of power. It's like you're battling a ghost in the machine.
This quote just nails that core feeling, doesn't it? The book suggests we're living in a kind of modern-day enslavement, where free will is subtly worn down, and the chains are so transparent and far-reaching that most of us don't even notice they're there.
But here's the crucial twist in the argument. This overwhelming pressure isn't a sign that the system is strong. It's a sign of its weakness. The author says it's the final, desperate act of a dying system, a clear signal that it's about to collapse. This darkness, it's argued, is what comes right before the dawn.
And that leads us right into the second sign, which is all about the death of objective truth. It's about how reality itself is being deliberately turned upside down to create this mass state of confusion.
The book claims we're in an age of what it calls cognitive vertigo. It's where language is specifically engineered to mean its opposite. Wars are started in the name of peace, financial systems that take wealth are called aid, and more control is sold to us as freedom. The goal, the book argues, is to mentally exhaust us until we can't tell the truth from a lie anymore.
So, if you can't trust the information you're getting from the outside, what's left? The author suggests something pretty radical. We have to turn inward. The argument is that this whole crisis is designed to force us to disconnect from external authorities, the media, politicians, and reconnect with our own intuition, that quiet inner voice that knows what's really going on.
And all of this brings us to sign number 3, the systemic failure of all the big ideologies that were supposed to have the answers. The author calls this the fall of the flags. We're talking about everything, from capitalism and its unsustainable inequality to liberalism and its moral crises. The book argues that every single man-made system, every ism, is just falling apart at the seams. No political leader, no ideology seems to have a real solution, and that's creating this huge global leadership vacuum.
And again, the perspective here isn't that this is a catastrophe. It's framed as a necessary step. The argument is simple. You can't build a new, healthy house on a rotten foundation. So this widespread collapse is seen as clearing the stage for what the author calls higher guidance, a kind of wisdom that's way beyond our current failing systems.
The fourth sign is a little different. It shifts from the political world outside to the psychological world inside of us. It's this strange, collective feeling of anticipation, a subconscious sense that all of humanity is just waiting for something or someone. The book points to our pop culture as evidence for this. Think about it. The total dominance of superhero movies, apocalyptic video games, and how conversations about aliens or higher intelligence have gone completely mainstream. All of this is interpreted as a collective cry for help, a subconscious admission that we can't solve our own problems.
So the author asks this question to make a really powerful point. This universal thirst for salvation is presented as evidence that a savior actually exists. The logic is interesting. You only feel thirsty because water is a real thing. Therefore, this global need for an answer is argued to be proof that an answer is on its way.
And this feeling of waiting, it's supercharged by the final sign. And this is one I think a lot of us might feel personally. It's the sensation that time itself is speeding up, that history is being compressed as we get closer and closer to some kind of climax.
The book describes it like a quantum leap, one event right after another, these massive economic shocks.
Then the political crises, the constant technological change, it's all hitting us with a speed and an intensity our minds can barely even process.
The argument is that this is like the final stages of labor, before birth, right? The contractions of history are getting faster and closer together, building towards something new.
So in this dizzying tornado of events, where's the safe place? The author uses this powerful metaphor. The only calm is in the eye of the storm. And that still point, that's your inner center. It's your faith, your peace, that can stay fixed while the whole world spins around you.
So what's the big conclusion here? When you piece all 5 signs together, the invisible cage, the death of truth, the fall of ideologies, that collective weight, and the compression of time, the book argues they form a coherent puzzle. They're signaling the end of an age of darkness.
The most important point, then, is the call to action. And it's not a call to go out and fight or hoard supplies. It's an internal mission. First, to be a guardian of light, which means maintaining your own calm and positive mindset. Second, to consciously reject fear and despair. And third, to speak your own truth in a time when lies are everywhere.
And really, the entire analysis in this book is built on this one fundamental principle of hope. It takes everything we see as frightening, collapse, confusion, chaos, and reframes it as the necessary and predictable darkness that has to come before a great awakening.
And that's the final question the book leaves us with. It suggests this isn't a spectator sport, it's a transition that requires our conscious participation. So the question isn't just whether we're prepared to see the sunrise, but whether we're ready to play our part in helping it arrive.